Hey everyone! If you're serious about digging into New Testament Greek, you know there's that moment. The moment the classroom stuff ends and the real scholarly world begins. Today, we're looking at the book that is, hands down, the best bridge across that gap. Constantine Campbell's Advances in the Study of Greek.
And welcome to Faith Seeking Understanding. Here we're all about exploring the tools that help us engage with the biblical text on a much, much deeper level. So yeah, let's get right into it.
Okay, so you've done it. You've put in the hours, you've memorized all those paradigms, you've wrestled with vocabulary, you survived first-year Greek. Seriously? Congratulations. But now you're probably standing there asking that huge question. Okay, what's next?
You know, for so many of us, there's this massive gap, right? A gap between the grammar you learned in class and the kind of intimidating world of modern linguistics. It can feel like you learned how to read a map, only to find out the map itself is like 100 years out of date.
So, how in the world do you update that map? Well, this is exactly where Constantine Campbell's book comes in. It is designed to be your personal guide to walk you across that gap and make these cutting-edge discussions in Greek studies totally accessible, whether you're a student, a pastor, or even a seasoned scholar.
This quote from the book just nails its powerful two-part mission. See, it's not just about adding new, shiny linguistic tools to your toolbox. It's also about going back and refining what we thought we already knew. The book promises to give you both fresh insights into the text and the confidence to correct some really old errors. And Con Campbell is the perfect guide for this. He isn't just some guy reporting on these debates from the sidelines. He's a major player in the game, especially when it comes to the huge conversation around verbal aspect. And he has this amazing gift for taking mountains of complex information and just breaking it down clearly. So let's start with that second promise, because this is often the part that really surprises people: correcting long-held errors. Campbell shows us how the very map of Koine Greek we were all taught is being redrawn in some pretty radical ways. If you've taken Greek, I am sure you remember the absolute headache of deponent verbs. This weird category, middle or passive in form, but supposedly active in meaning. It has confused students for generations.
Well, guess what? It turns out the entire academic world is moving on. This quote points to this amazing moment at a huge biblical literature conference back in 2010, where all four main speakers agreed the category of deponency, which was really just borrowed from Latin grammar anyway, is flawed and we should just get rid of it. In the academic world, getting everyone to agree like that is, as one person put it, an apocalyptic sign. And here's the best part. Campbell doesn't just point out the problem and walk away, he actually lays out a path forward. He basically says, instead of using this messy deponency label, we just need to understand the Greek middle voice for what it is, which often just means the subject is acting on or for themselves. Once you get that, the whole category just disappears. It's not needed. And then he gives practical steps for how to do it.
All right, get ready for this one. This absolutely blew my mind when I first learned it. You know that traditional Erasmian pronunciation you probably spent weeks learning? Yeah. It's almost certainly not how people in the first century actually spoke Greek.
So why the change? It comes down to evidence from papyri, ancient letters, receipts, everyday documents. And this evidence strongly suggests that first-century Greek sounded a whole lot more like modern Greek than the system we all learn. So why do we still learn it? Well, today, any defense of it is purely for teaching purposes. It might make it easier to tell letters apart, but it has nothing to do with historical accuracy. So the book helps us clean house, to get rid of some old, inaccurate ideas. But it doesn't stop there. Then it gives us these powerful new linguistic tools that help us see the bigger picture, to unlock way deeper insights into the text. And this is where it gets really cool. First up is verbal aspect theory. This is Campbell's home turf. He calls it the most controversial area of research in Greek studies today. So what is it? Basically, it's about how an author chooses to portray an action. Are they showing it as a single, completed whole, like a snapshot, or are they zooming in on the process, like a video? It's about their perspective, not just a simple when did it happen timeline. Next up, discourse analysis. This is a total game changer. Instead of just looking at single words or sentences, this approach looks at the whole thing. It's about finally seeing the forest, not just the trees. Understanding how huge chunks of text fit together to build a theme, create a structure, and deliver a message. And this is where Campbell's skill really shines. He doesn't just tell you about discourse analysis, he summarizes and compares different approaches. For example, he shows how a scholar like Halliday gives you this big, robust theory of how texts hold together, while others, like Levinson and Runges, give you more practical, hands-on tools. Campbell suggests you can use them together, giving you both the why and the how.
Okay, so we've talked about fixing old mistakes and adding new tools. But what's the big takeaway here? Why does this book really truly matter for anyone who's serious about studying the New Testament in its own language?
Here it is. This is the key. Advances in the Study of Greek isn't another textbook full of rules you have to memorize. It's a catalyst. It's an invitation to step out of that first-year classroom and to join the lively, fascinating, and ongoing conversation about the language of the New Testament.
So I want to turn it over to you. Whether it's rethinking something like deponency or diving into discourse analysis or maybe something else entirely, what do you think is the most exciting advance in Greek studies right now? Let us know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear from you and keep this conversation going.
Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. If this was helpful in your own journey of faith-seeking understanding, do us a favor and hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into biblical studies. We'd love to see you in the comments, and we'll see you in the next explainer.